What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Awful clap, awful. But the gun I have today is extremely nice. This is a Walther PDP, but it's not any PDP. It's the PRO-X PMM model, which means it has a really nice compensator from Parker Mountain Machine. Spoiler alert, it shoots extremely nice. What we're going to do is I'm going to talk about the PDP series in general, go a quick overview of the different versions in case this beast is not your jam. Then we'll talk about the features on this specific firearm. Then I'll tell you about the testing, what I think of it overall, and then you can subscribe to my channel and go about your day. All right, let's talk about the different versions of the PDP. So this is a really nice, but it's a big gun made for range and competitions and stuff like that. So if it's not your jam, like I said, they have smaller carry versions. They have standard full-size versions, bunch of different colors in both of those options as well. They have the F series, and a lot of people joke and say the F is for series is for females. The grip on that gun is much smaller, so it's great for people with smaller hands, but I love that thing. That thing was one of my favorite smaller guns or smaller grip guns that I've shot. Awesome. They have 380 versions if anybody's a little recoil sensitive, and they have steel frame versions of the PDP. The steel frame versions are just insane. They shoot so flat, so nice. I like that. So the PMM X Pro, whatever the model number is, there is two different versions of this gun. This is the compact version. There's also a full-size version. The full-size version has a longer grip. That is, I believe, the only difference between the two. All right, magazines. It comes with 3 magazines, which is dope. A lot of companies still don't do that, but I love that they give you 3 magazines. They're metal magazines. The base plate is a metal as well. Base plate is aluminum. You're welcome. If you get the compact version, the magazines are either going to be 18 rounds if you live in a free-ish state, or 10 rounds if you don't. If you get the full-size version, it's either going to be 20 or 10 rounds, depending on the state you live in. And the magazines are made in Italy, so that tells me I'm going to assume that they are made by Metgar. And Metgar makes great magazines, very reliable, good stuff. So if that's the case, that's awesome. The magwell on this gun, again, it has a big magwell on it. Probably not ideal for concealed carry. Great for range and doing magazine exchanges. It is an aluminum magwell. The inside is beveled very nicely, very aggressive. So you to do those Neo-Mag magazine exchanges, because Neo-Mag magazine exchanges is life. All right, the grip on this one, like I said, is polymer. It's not one of the steel frame grips. The PDP grip texture is one of the best grip textures on any polymer gun. The texture feels great. They walk that perfect line, in my opinion, of being aggressive enough to feel good and lock the grip in, but not too aggressive, and it's not going to tear up your girly hand. So the grip texture is great. I love the way it feels. The shape on this is great as well. It just fits my hands perfectly. I have average size man hands, in between the magwell locking my grip in and the texture and the shape, everything just feels extremely good on this grip. It does also come with 3 different back straps for different size hands, so you have a little bit of customization in there. Magazine release is great as well. Again, spoiler alert, I don't have many complaints on this gun, really just 1 or 2. But the magazine release is great. 1, you can reverse it to the other side, so you backwards lefty people would be good. It's very easy to reach and drop. Like, I don't need to readjust my grip really to drop the magazine and press that button. And again, it does drop the magazines freely when you press the mag release. You don't need to rip those magazines or anything like that. Moving on up to the trigger. All Walther PDPs have a good trigger. This one is a little bit of a next level trigger. They call it the Dynamic Performance Trigger. It's about 4.5 pounds, and it is just fantastic. So it's a flat face. You got a little dongle safety on there. You come up to a great wall. The wall's very short. The reset is very tactile, very auto, very respectable as far as the distance you travel. The trigger is solid. I don't think anyone is going to complain about the trigger. Now, we are, as always, going to get up close and personal with the trigger so you can see it and smell it and taste it. Before we do that, I want to quickly thank Natchez. You see them back there. They are the biggest supporter of my channel. They're always having great deals on hunting, fishing, camping, pew-pews, optics, all that type of stuff. And I want to thank them for being the biggest supporter of my channel, because they are awesome. What'd you think of the trigger? Pretty good. pretty good. All right, the rail. Standard 1913 rail has a whole bunch of cutouts. I put Surefire and Streamlight lights on here. I didn't have a problem with either one. And because this is ultimately with the slide and the comp a full length size gun, the full-size lights like the TLR1 and the X300, definitely the TLR1 sits flush, and I think aesthetically with the big gun, the big light, I just think that looks really good. All right, the slide release, there's a couple things I like about it. One, it's ambi, so you backwards lefty people don't have to cry and complain. It is extended. So it's very easy. If you're like me and you want to use it as a release, it's very easy to do so. But the way it's designed, I always worry with extended controls, like am I going to ride that extended control and the slide's not going to lock to the rear? And that did not happen to me. That wasn't the case. So it's nice that it's extended. It's easy to use as a release. It's good that it's ambi, and I didn't ride it with my hands anyway. So that's good. The slide's got a couple good things as well. One, it's made from steel, which obviously most guns are. It should be, and it has a nitrite finish. So as far as corrosion resistance, it should be excellent, even though I've only had mine for a few months here. Now, the PDP serrations, if you don't know, their serrations are fantastic. They call them super terrain serrations, which is a silly name, but the serrations themselves are great. They're very, very deep into the slide, and they're angled forward. There's front and rear serrations, and because of that, it's very easy to get a grip on the slide. It's very, very grippy because the serrations, being that they're so deep, the serrations are great. The slide, the sights are okay. They're white dot sights, they're adjustable, and they have a ledge for one-handed manipulation. So a lot of good things there. The only thing I don't like is their plastic. So if you're like me and you don't love plastic sights, they're easy to swap out. But that's pretty much the sights. I use optics. I don't use sights anymore. Well, as much as possible anyway. The optic system is interesting. So you do use an accessory plate. So that gives me a little bit of a hesitation, but it sits extremely low, very, very low. So I was like, okay, that's cool. It sits much lower than most. The plates themselves are very, very solid. They're steel plates. And a good portion of that plate sits down into the slide. I'm not sure how to word that, but I think you understand, like underneath the plate, there's a good portion of that sits in the slide. So as far as being a solid plate and done well, that's in there, that sits very, very low, it does all of that, so I'm okay with it. These are the footprints that you can get an accessory plate for to work with this gun. So it doesn't come with any accessory plates. You buy the gun, you go online, you type in your serial number, Walther will give you one plate for free, and then any other after that you have to purchase. So me personally, I wish it came with like the RMR footprint for free, and if you wanted any others, you could buy it. But I think just because the RMR is the most popular, I don't know if everyone would agree with me, but I would like to see it come with the RMR plate, and then I could purchase the additional ones. You may or may not agree, but hey, it's okay if we disagree. All right, taking this gun apart is very easy, simple, just like a lot of guns in polymer type guns. And YouTube people, this is okay. This is just for basic maintenance and cleaning, which is okay to show on YouTube. We're gonna make sure it's unloaded, of course. Pull the slide to the rear. You have a takedown lever on both sides of the gun. Pull that down, pull the trigger, and the slide comes right off. Not very difficult. Inside, it looks like a pretty much very common striker-fired gun. Nothing too different. I do want to point out that the rails are pretty beefy there. The locking block in there is pretty beefy. The recoil spring is a captured recoil spring. It is a polymer. The barrel in here is 4.6 inches. Again, it is 9mm. And then you have that beautiful, beautiful comp from Parker Mountain Machine on the end. And I haven't talked about that a lot late in this review yet. I want to talk a little bit about it when I talk about the testing here in a second. But man, the comp lining up at the end of the barrel, not only does that look very aesthetically pleasing, but it does a really good job at eating up a lot of that felt recoil, and this is a great soft shooting gun. All right, up here on the screen is the dimensions. Whoops, I missed. Is the dimensions, the weight, and the MSRP. Again, the MSRP is what Walther suggests the price to be. You can definitely find this available for less than that if you look around. All right, let's talk about the testing. I shot this a lot. I really enjoyed this gun, so I shot it more than most. I brought it to the range at least 10 times. I shot well over 600 rounds, especially once I got that optics plate and I could throw an optic on there. Then I really, really enjoyed shooting this gun. We did mostly basic range drills, you know, whatever I was doing at the range that day. As always, I shoot a lot of steel. I love doing magazine exchanges. Once again, Neo Mag is life. Did some drawing from the holster, both inside the waistband and outside the waistband, even though I know no one is really going to carry this gun inside the waistband. Most people won't. A lot of transitions. Again, this is a range competition gun, so I wanted to do range and competition type shooting. I've been testing some gas masks, so I did some gas mask shooting with it as well. Just a wide variety of drills. I had no issues, no malfunctions, nothing I need to tell you guys about. The gun was absolutely flawless through all of that shooting. The biggest pro for me is going to be that comp. I've always liked Walther PDP guns, and I've always thought they've shot well and the grip was good and all that stuff, but with the comp, it eats up a significant amount of the felt recoil. It shoots a lot flatter. I can't give you an exact amount or percentage. Just know, if I was going to buy a PDP, I would absolutely get the one with the comp. If there's a feature set that matches what you're going to use the gun for, definitely get one with the comp because it just eats up so much of that recoil. So that's my biggest pro. I love the grip shape and the grip texture. The Walther nailed it with that. The subterranean serrations are great on the PDP. Magwell, they did a nice job with the aluminum magwell. And then the trigger. The trigger is a very, very solid, respectable, good trigger. Exactly what I would expect from Walther. Walther's always been known for good triggers in their polymer guns. The only thing I would change again is going to be that optics plate system. In my humble opinion, I wish it came with the RMR plate, and then you could purchase others. If you don't use a optic that's an RMR footprint, you may not agree with me, but that's how I would like to set up. So I could use this out of the box day one, waiting a couple weeks for my optics plate, and God forbid I had to shoot irons at the range. That made me big sad. The last thing I want to point out is on the Walther website, they have a list of recommended ammo. There's certain ammo they recommend you use, and there's certain ammo they recommend you stay away from. So with all comped guns, because you're eating up a lot of that felt recoil, comp guns sometimes can have more issues than non-comp guns. So you may see an issue with this list of ammo that they don't recommend. I would think it was in the product manual I saw it, or maybe it was just the website. I forgot where, but either way, just be aware of it. Overall, this is my overall thought. I think there's a lot of local buddies of mine who have been SIG and Glock shooters for a very, very long time that are all about these Walther PDPs now. Several of my buddies, some of them I let shoot this and they're like, oh my goodness, I want one, and they went and got one. Some of them just seeing it online and the features and shooting it from other people. I see a lot of my local buddies selling their SIGs, selling their Glocks, and getting the Walther PDP. And that says a lot, because a lot of these boys and girls are very loyal. Like, I've always shot Glock, I've always shot SIG, and now they're switching to Walther, which is pretty crazy. All right, let me thank Walther. This is the first time they've supported me in a video, and that is greatly, greatly appreciated. Of course, we always thank Notches, because they are the biggest supporter of this channel. What else was I going to say? I forgot. Most important, thank you guys for watching. If you think I deserve it, please subscribe to the channel. The likes and the comments are great. I appreciate them. They help. But if you really want to help me out, subscribe to the channel. It doesn't hurt. I appreciate it. Santa Claus appreciates it as well. Be good, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!